Robert Redford was admired by millions, but admiration was never the thing he wanted most. People around the world saw his talent, his charm, and the calm confidence he carried wherever he went. But few ever saw the cost of being Robert Redford. Behind the public respect was a man who lived with a quiet sadness he almost never talked about. His wife later said that Redford was always gentle but guarded, as if he had learned early that showing too much emotion could lead to heartbreak. He loved deeply, but he loved carefully. He laughed easily, but he rarely opened the deepest parts of his heart. The truth was that his life had been shaped by loss more than anyone realized. Long before he became a Hollywood icon, Redford lived a childhood filled with small disappointments that slowly grew into bigger ones. His family wasn't wealthy, and he sometimes felt out of place. He struggled with direction in life, feeling unsure of what he was meant to do or who he was meant to become. His wife later explained that these early years created a feeling inside him that never fully went away, no matter how successful he became. One of the first major pains in his life came long before fame. His mother, the person who believed in him the most, passed away when he was only a young man. Her death changed him in ways that even his friends never fully understood. She had been the one constant source of warmth in his early life, and losing her left him with a quiet emptiness he learned to carry alone. His wife would later say that Robert talked about his mother with an emotion so raw that she could see how deeply the loss had shaped him. He felt guilt, sadness, and a longing that followed him for decades. Every major achievement in his life carried a shadow because the one person he wanted to share it with was no longer there. But the deepest wound came when Redford became a father. His first child, Scott, died when he was still a baby. Redford rarely spoke about that loss, but his wife finally revealed how deeply it broke him. She said that he never fully recovered from losing his son. He carried the grief quietly, almost invisibly, but it was always there, hidden beneath calm eyes and a measured voice. Redford learned to bury his pain because he believed that talking about it made it worse. He was raised to be strong, and in his generation, strength meant silence. He never wanted pity, never wanted anyone to feel sorry for him, and that meant he kept the hardest memories locked inside. But silence does not erase pain, it only teaches you how to carry it more quietly. Throughout his career, people saw him as confident and steady, the kind of man who always knew what to do. But his wife said that the truth was very different. He often doubted himself. He felt pressures others couldn't see. He disliked fame even while it made him a household name. He felt responsible for everyone around him, even when he was the one breaking inside. The world saw him as a strong leading man, but his wife said he had moments when he felt insecure, lonely, and overwhelmed. He enjoyed working, directing, creating, and building something meaningful. But personal life was more complicated for him. Love mattered to him more than anything, yet he feared losing people because he had already lost too many. As the years passed, Redford became a father again and raised more children. He loved them deeply, but he also worried constantly about them. His wife explained that his fear of losing loved ones never went away. If one of the kids got sick, even with something small, he panicked internally. He would try to hide it, but she could always see the fear in his eyes. What no one outside the family knew was how much Redford blamed himself for things he could not control. His son Scott's death haunted him. He never talked about it publicly because the pain was too sharp. His wife said the loss changed him forever, making him more protective, more cautious, and more anxious about the safety of his family. Fame made everything more complicated. The more famous he became, the more pressure he felt. People expected him to be perfect, calm, and strong at all times. His wife said he hated being seen as an icon because icons were not allowed to be fragile. Icons were not allowed to cry or break down. Icons were not allowed to admit they were hurting. He became one of Hollywood's biggest stars, but he never felt like he belonged in that world. He was a private person forced into a public life. Success did not erase his sadness, it only forced him to hide it better. He smiled for cameras, acted with skill, and directed with passion, but every day he carried memories he never escaped. His wife said he felt loneliness even in crowded rooms because fame created a distance between him and the world. People loved the image of Robert Redford, but not many knew the real man behind it. His wife was one of the few who truly saw him. She saw his fears, his insecurities, his regrets, and his quiet suffering. She would later admit that Redford tried to protect her from his darkness. He didn't want his pain to become her burden. He believed that love meant shielding the people you care about from the things that hurt you. But in doing so, he kept too much inside. She said that sometimes she felt him slipping into himself, retreating to a place she couldn't reach. As Redford grew older, the pain he had hidden for decades became heavier. Age made the memories stronger, not weaker. His wife said there were nights when he would sit quietly for hours, lost in thought. She would ask what he was thinking about, and he would simply say he was remembering. He never said exactly what he remembered, but she knew. The truth is that Redford lived a life filled with love, but also with the constant shadow of loss. And even when he was surrounded by family, success, and admiration, a part of him was still grieving the people he lost too soon. He carried that grief like a secret that shaped every part of his life. What his wife revealed later made the world understand him in a new way. She said that Redford felt guilty for living longer than the people he loved most. He felt guilty for outliving his mother, his father, and especially his son. That guilt stayed with him until the final years of his life. The painful truth she revealed is that Redford believed he could have done more, been there more, saved more, protected more. Even though everyone told him none of it was his fault, he never fully believed them. He felt responsible for things no human could control. He felt that his success came at a price he didn't deserve to pay. This quiet guilt, hidden behind decades of silence, became the secret wound of his life. His wife said he carried it, like a shadow that never left him. She said the sadness in his eyes was something she noticed from the day she met him. But what broke her heart most was what she found out too late, something he never told her, never shared, and never admitted. That painful truth shaped the rest of his life and finally came out after he was gone. And that truth is what Chapter 2 reveals in his wife's own words. Robert Redford lived his life with a careful balance between silence and strength. Most people assumed he carried himself this way because he was disciplined or private by nature. But his wife revealed that it was much deeper than that. His silence was not a choice, it was his way of surviving a lifetime of painful memories. She said that he believed his emotions were too heavy to put on anyone else, even the people he loved the most. For decades, she watched him handle everything with quiet dignity. He never complained, never blamed, and never demanded attention. But she also watched him struggle with thoughts he kept locked away. When she finally spoke about it, she said Redford was one of the strongest men she had ever known, but he was also one of the most wounded. The public only saw the strength. She saw the wounds. She said the sad part was not that Redford suffered. The sad part was that he suffered alone. He never wanted to be a burden. He never wanted anyone to worry about him. He believed silence was a form of love, a way to keep the people around him safe from the darkness he felt inside. But silence also kept people from helping him heal. His wife explained that Redford lived with a feeling that life had taken too much from him. Losing his mother, losing his son, losing close friends, and living with the pressures of fame created a weight he carried until his final years. But the real truth she revealed was far deeper. It was the truth he never shared, even with her, until it was almost too late. She described moments when she would find him staring quietly into space, his expression soft but distant. She would sit beside him and ask if something was wrong. He always said he was fine, but she gradually learned to read the emotion in his silence. He wasn't fine, he was remembering. He was replaying things he wished he could change, moments he wished he could redo, and people he wished he could hold on to for longer. What she revealed was that Redford lived with a kind of regret that never softened. This regret wasn't about career choices or missed opportunities. It was about people. He felt that he hadn't been present enough. He felt he hadn't protected the people he loved enough. Even though these feelings were not based in truth, they became the emotional foundation of his life. His wife said that Redford often felt like life moved too fast, like the important moments slipped away before he could fully appreciate them. He regretted being too busy during certain years. He regretted not saying certain things when he still had the chance. He regretted letting time pass without slowing down to feel the love that was around him. But the most painful thing his wife revealed was this: Redford believed he didn't deserve happiness because he had lost too many people who deserved it more.